Hi, I'm Stephanie Griffin, a Master Saddlers Association certified fitter with County Saddlery. We at County Saddlery have created a set of videos to educate our clients so that you can be confident in your ability to find an optimally fitting county saddle that both you and your horse will love. In these videos, you will learn how to determine what tree size your horse needs, as well as how to evaluate the fit of a new or gently used demo county saddle. County's Wither Tracings video will walk you through the process, step by step, on how to take a set of wither tracings so that you can decide what tree size your horse needs. Wither tracing kits are available for purchase. Wither tracing kits are only $29.95 with free shipping. The kits include everything you need to do your own tracings, including reference to 2 free 15-minute instructional video links, how to take wither tracings and the 12 steps of static saddle fitting, a checklist for the 12 steps of static saddle fitting, a flexible curve, file folder for tracing transfers, marker, pen, and chalk, and tracing comparison charts with narrow, medium, wide, and extra wide tracings for approximate comparison to your horse's withers. County Saddlery's other video, the 12 steps of static saddle fitting, will show you how to evaluate the fit of a new or gently used demo county saddle being considered for purchase from County Saddlery. Both of these videos were designed so that you can be confident in your ability to find an optimally fitting saddle for both you and your horse, all with the expert help of a County Saddlery representative assisting you remotely and virtually throughout the entire process. Please go to www.saddles.com to find your nearest County Saddlery representative. Hi, I'm Stephanie Griffin with County Saddlery. This video is going to teach you how to do a set of wither tracings. Now please don't be intimidated. It's really not difficult to do, and I'm going to walk you through the process step by step. Watching this video in tandem with County Saddlery's other video, the 12 steps of static saddle fitting, is going to qualify you to evaluate a county saddle on your horse. That way, you can work with your county agent virtually and remotely to find an optimally fitting saddle for both you and your horse. We felt it was important to mention that because we're filming this during the COVID pandemic, that we are taking all health and safety precautions. We're filming this at a private barn where I care for and keep my own horses. In addition, my family members who I've been quarantined with are helping me with the production of this video. For instance, my husband's behind the camera and my kids are assisting. To do your wither tracing, there are a few items that you are going to need. First of all, you're going to need a manila file folder marked in certain areas, and I'll go through the details of that in just a minute. You're also going to need a Sharpie pen, a piece of chalk in a contrasting color with your horse's coat, a carrot or a horse cookie, and finally, you're going to need a flexible curve ruler. These can be purchased for as little as $8.99 on Amazon. To mark up your file folder, you're going to need the following details. You're going to want to note the date, the client name, and the horse name on the outside front of the folder. On the inside, we have marked in inches reference points down the side and down the bottom. Now you also want to mark left and your right side because you want to make sure you don't flip-flop your measurements and your tracings. Now finally, our key at the top shows which measurements we're going to be taking. Number 1, we'll be doing a tracing at the tree points. Number 2, at the rib cage rotation. Number 3, at T18. And number 4, the top line tracing. The first tracing we're going to take is at the tree points. In order to find this, you're going to have to identify the back edge of the horse's scapula. You can palpate this area. If the horse has adipose tissue, you might have to palpate a little deeper. Adipose tissue are fat deposits underneath the skin. This horse does not have adipose tissue, so he's fine. However, if you're having a hard time finding that edge of the scapula, you can have your assistant pull the horse's foreleg forward just a little bit and see how the scapula rotates back? Good, and then she can set that back down squarely. Now we've identified the back edge of the scapula right here. So what we're going to do, once we've found that, we are going to use our fingers. Now for men, you can generally use 3 fingers. For ladies, I use 4 fingers. My fingers are smaller. So I'm gonna mark 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I'm gonna mark this area right here with some chalk, okay? And that's going to be our first marking. The second tracing we are going to do is isolating the area of rib rotation. Some horses will carry their ribs to one side or the other. So that's why we want to mark that in a tracing so that we can see as your agent what we need to fit the saddle to. The way to do this is you can have your assistant with a carrot that I showed you earlier, bring the horse's head around and kind of do a carrot stretch. And you're going to identify where that rib comes out at the furthest point, okay? So right here for this horse, it's about right here. So then we're going to follow that up to right here to this area, and I'm going to mark this area. Good boy, Rib. In observing rib cage rotation, and that's generally around T15 or T16, the top of the rib cage is where you'll often see rib rotation, and that means that one side of the rib cage will be lower than the other. Most often the left side will be lowest. And when that rib cage is rotated to the left, it will be slightly lower on the left side than on the right. The third tracing we're going to do is T18, thoracic vertebrae 18. There are 2 different ways to identify that, and I'm going to show you both today. The first way, you're going to take your fist at the horse's hip bone and you're going to push forward. You're going to feel the horse's last rib. Then with your hand, you're going to go straight up to the horse's spine. That's going to locate L3, lumbar vertebrae number 3. Then you count forward 3 vertebrae. So 1, 2, 3, and that will get you to approximately T18. So I'm going to mark this right here. The second method of doing this is, again, putting your fist at the hip bone, pushing forward, and then you're going to trace that horse's last rib and it curves up. Again, arriving at approximately T18. The first step is making sure that your horse is standing nice and square on a level, even surface. It also helps to have an assistant or a handler to hold your horse during the process. And then she can keep setting your horse up. It's important to have a lot of patience during this, take a lot of deep breaths, and just, if your horse goes out of line, just go ahead and take a minute, set him back up nice and squarely. If you don't have a horse squared up, you're not going to have accurate tracings. So in order to do this, you're going to try to set the hind legs first, that's good, and then you can set your horse's forelegs. So here, we're just gonna put that and set that right back down. See if he'll do that. Good boy. That's pretty good right there. Now, a trick, if your horse is resting a hind leg or cocking a hind leg, what you can do is reach down and touch the inside of the cannon bone of the same leg, the same side, and then that horse will put the weight back on that hind leg. So just a little trick to help you out. The first tracing we're going to take, which we've already marked our points, is at the tree points. So you're going to take your flex curve and you're going to fold it in half. This is a 24-inch flex curve, so I folded it in half at the 12 mark. You want to make sure that it's nice and smooth and straight. You're going to take this and place it at the mark we made earlier, the chalk mark. You're going to then push down and mold this curve to your horse's shape, all the way down on both sides. Make sure that this ruler is perpendicular to the ground as you're doing this. You don't want it angled forward or backward. So we're going to flex this, mold the flex curve down all the way. Then, taking the left side in your left hand, the right side in your right hand, we're going to place it on the file folder. You want to make sure that you're even from side to side. And this is where you can also use the spine of your file folder as a center mark. Now you're going to take your Sharpie and you're going to mark the inside or the underside of the curve. tracing around the underside. And there we have our first tracing. I'm going to mark this as number 1. The second tracing that we need to capture is at the point of rib rotation. So what you're going to do is make sure that your flex curve is flat, 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 and then you're still going to look at your number 12 right in the middle. So now we're going to take that and set number 12 right up there, your 12 marker, and then you're going to set this down, okay? And then you're going to push hard and mold the curve of the horse. If you need to go around to the side, you can certainly do so. Push all the way down, and then again, making sure that your curve is perpendicular to the ground. You're going to lift your curve without squeezing it together or widening it. And then we're going to set number 12 right here. You want to make sure that you are even on both sides. And then you're going to take your Sharpie, marking the underside or the underside or the inside of your curve. And there we go. Now we've got our number 2 marker for rib cage rotation. Our third marker is going to be at T18, which is the thoracic vertebrae T18. So to do this, we've already marked it here. So we are going to, again, at number 12 at the spine, mold our curve all the way down, just as before, right through here, taking our curve and now bringing it over to our paper with it nice and centered on the spine. And you're going to follow the underside of the curve. And this is our third tracing at T18. Our fourth and final tracing is going to be the top line tracing. So what we're going to do is I like to start at the 3-inch marker and align that with my first mark here at the tree points. Then you're going to mold this curve down into the horse's spine, all the way down, and then you can actually, a little trick, lift that up in the back. And you want to make sure that you're centered on the horse's spine so that does not pop up. Now our markers here are number 3, number 15, and at number 20. Okay, so now we're going to take this top line tracing, and this also captures a little bit of the curve of the wither as well, a little bit of that wither shape. Now we're going to take this and transfer this onto our file. So now I'm going to trace the underside of this top line tracing, just as we've done the others. There we go. And we are going to mark these, as we mentioned. So we had at number 3, which is the marker right here, at 15, right here, and then at number 20, right here, which is T18. So we'll mark this as number 1. This is our number 2 tracing, and this is T18. And this shows our complete set of tracings for this horse. Just a reminder, you can go to CountySaddleryStore.com to get your own wither tracing kit for only $29.95 with free shipping. It's complete with everything you need to do your own tracings, including references to 2 free 15-minute instructional video links, how to do a wither tracing, and 12 steps of static saddle fitting, a checklist for the 12 steps of static saddle fitting, flexible curve, file folder for tracing transfers, marker pen and chalk, and a tracing comparison chart with narrow, medium, wide, extra wide wither tracings for approximate comparison to your horse. Make an appointment with your county saddlery rep for for a virtual saddle fitting. These videos will qualify you to confidently interact with your county representative and MSA trained saddle fitter during a virtual saddle fitting appointment so that you can feel confident in your choice of a new or demo county saddle. Go to saddles.com to find the representative nearest you.